I'm surprised you agreed to see me. I wouldn't have.
I have no hard feelings against you, Miss Gerard.
I need to right a wrong.
You ever read your Bible?
Not in a long time.
All of our wrongs have been righted.
I'm so sorry for what I did to you.
I know you are. I know.
All the tests are done. It's just a waiting game now.
I appreciate you handling this for me, Richard.
Absolutely. I know this case is close to your heart, and, with the press questioning the validity in it.
Well, the press can question the outcome all they want. The point is, I got a conviction 20 years ago.
I agree. There is the issue of the sister, though. Karen. She's been trying to contact you for quite a while.
Yes, I know. It's amazing what grief does to a person. Completely erases their memory.
Let's not forget to go over those polls. I don't know if you knew that, but 70% of Latino voters are anti-death penalty. And the Latino state leaders, they're going to come down hard on you.
I'm not going to change my position just to get their vote.
We certainly can't abandon our base.
Good. I'm glad you agree with that, because I'm paving a way for us to Washington. I just need you to take care of this execution, and I'll take care of the rest. Is there anything else?
With all due respect, Governor, the lack of DNA, the missing evidence, the insinuation that you rushed to convict, these are all points that the press are going to...
The press has attacked me since I took office, and it's done nothing to my numbers.
I agree that we can't kowtow to the anti-death penalty vote, but I also think that there's a way that we can please both.
Go on.
Ask Daryl if he'll admit his guilt. Then you tell him that you're going to switch his sentence to life. You please the Latinos, the sister, and anyone else who's skittish about the needle. Plus, you keep a convicted murderer off the streets. Tough on crime, but yet compassionate to our Latino brothers.
What's your favorite color, Richard?
Blue.
No. I think it's gray.
Why do you say that?
In the business of politics, you always have to declare publicly whether you're black or white. But you always want to leave that middle open for the gray.
Miss Gerard is here to see you.
Thank you for joining us on this auspicious day. Let me introduce you to my assistant, Richard McCallan. He's very familiar with your case.
My deepest sympathies, Miss Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. But I've already agreed for my sister. She's been dead for 20 years.
Can I get you some water, some coffee?
No, thank you. I'm here today to voice my concern about this execution.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know that it's been a long road to justice for your sister, and I understand you've had your doubts.
He didn't do it.
Miss Gerard, your testimony was a large part of gaining that conviction. Why are you changing your story now?
It's funny how people block things from their minds when tragic situations happen. I specifically remember telling everyone that the assailant was 6'3" with red hair. And I repeated myself for the first hour until he convinced me that I was wrong.
I convinced you of nothing. I planted nothing in your mind. As a matter of fact, you had a lot of alcohol that night, right? There was, what was the alcohol blood content?
I relived that night for the last 20 years. I know what I saw.
Why are you so sure?
When I walked down the stairs, my sister was laying at the bottom. with her throat slit, and her entire body was covered in blood. And I looked up, and I saw a tall, red-headed man running out the door. And isn't it so sad that there wasn't enough blood to do any DNA testing? Because all of a sudden the evidence was missing. Isn't that right, Governor?
But didn't you testify in a court of law that Daryl Webb killed your sister?
Yes. Yes, I testified. After hours I spent with that man. And now I think that the press needs to know that you made up all those criminals.
I can't imagine the press believing an irrational, grieving woman over the most popular governor this state has ever known.
I'm not irrational. And I'm not grieving.
Miss Gerard, please.
No. If you don't stop this execution, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I reveal the truth.
Is that a threat? I will not be talked down to like this. Richard, remove this woman from my office immediately.
I got this.
I'm not going to be pulled into your delusional world, Miss Gerard. Do you hear me? Miss Gerard!
I'll go talk with her. Karen, Miss Gerard, hold on. You know what gets me? Is that you are so confident that Daryl Webb did not kill your sister.
I'm telling you, he didn't do it.
Okay, he didn't do it. Why do you say that?
Look, Daryl was convenient. He and his family, they lived in my neighborhood. 2 weeks before the murder, Daryl was picked up for shoplifting for food for his family. And when they couldn't come up with the suspect, they went around picking up so-called criminals. And guess what? Daryl was the only one that didn't have an alibi.
So the case was won by the weight of the eyewitnesses.
Yeah. And if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe these. This is 3 lie detector test. 2 I passed, 1 was inconclusive. You want to guess which one the state used for the appeals trial?
No. I think I already know. Can I keep these?
Sure.
I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Remember, if he takes the deal, I have it right here.
Daryl?
Long time no see. I read where you got yourself a nice title. Like to think I had a little something to do with that.
The state is willing to issue you a state of execution and commute your sentence down to a life in prison as long as you are willing to admit to the crimes of which you were convicted.
What about my final meal?
Excuse me?
Well, I just had chicken fried steak, garlic mashed potatoes, sweet corn, homemade apple pie. You gonna want all that back?
Look, just admit that you were involved in some way. I'll sign this paper. You can go back in there to your cable TV or exchanging cigarettes or whatever it is you do inside.
You know, Governor, I quit smoking a decade ago, and I don't really care much for TV anymore. But you know as well as I do that I don't belong here. So if there's any guilt in this room, it's not coming from me.
I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Webb. Did you do it?
Son, do you have any idea how many times I've answered that question in the last 20 years? One more time, no. No, I didn't kill that girl. And I will not confess to something that I didn't do.
You think your little self-righteous act is gonna shine some spotlight on your claim of innocence? People will forget you as soon as you leave this world.
I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world, but that's something you wouldn't understand.
I sleep well at night, Mr. Webb, if you're wondering. And you are wasting my time.
You know, Governor, I don't really worry if you believe me or not. Because the place where I'm going, there's no doubt of my innocence, and I'll be free forever, shackled by these chains. No more. I'm not the only one locked up here, am I? Might be a good time for the governor to free himself.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Webb. It's amazing what you can find in state's evidence if you look hard enough. See, I found this box labeled Darrell Webb, 1993, shoved off in some corner waiting to be incinerated. He was a convenient choice, wasn't he?
He was found guilty by a jury of his peers.
It doesn't make it right if you know the truth.
I'm not going to throw away my political career for some common criminal, some murderer.
Do you not think of anyone else in your life? Or are you so consumed by your political career that you are willing to put an innocent man to death? I'm not going to be part of this. 45 minutes.
Is that a threat? Are you threatening me?
Gray is not a color. It's a hue. And I don't care how many colors you mix together. You will never get gray. Do the right thing, Governor. 45 minutes.